Oh my god, look at my reserve personnel. It's almost empty. Holy crap. Let me just max out my maintenance and training spending at this point. Yep, I'm gonna run into a reserve personnel problem. At least once it becomes a problem, it will quickly solve itself. But oh boy, I don't even have the troops to really surpass China's deployed military right now. That's gonna be problematic, but it's a problem that will solve itself once it gets triggered. So Shibi, I'm pretty confident that when Malay gets released that you are going to invade Malay. Is that a good assumption?
I'm not going to say yes or no, but
Fair.
why?
I'm just sharing an assumption.
Well, all right, fine. Your assumption will be correct.
When Malay gets released, Singapore gets released at roughly the same time, so even if I wanted to stop you, there would be no easy way.
Oh, no, there wouldn't.
There would have been had you failed to take Thailand, but of course, that's okay. I'll be honest, I'm hardly watching what you're doing during this playthrough. I am so much more concerned with Narfi. He is doing so many things.
Yeah, well, the assumption would be correct.
Yeah, well, I mean, good luck with that. I'd prefer you get it than him, honestly.
I'll tell you what, I'll take those and then I won't expand any more into the Southeast Pacific.
I mean, there's nothing else here until those other colonies release, but that's fine by me. I wouldn't let you on Borneo, I'll tell you that much.
I figured as much.
When Brunei, North Borneo, Sarawak get released on the island of Borneo, I would not let that happen. If that did happen, given your current military strength, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
Dude, impressive how quickly you built up your military goods production earlier, by the way. Like, that was really quick.
Well, lessons learned.
Well, he's making more alliances. Venezuela, Bolivia, he can't protect those.
I think it's maybe more so to deter you or to use them to invade you.
He's also befriended Mexico already. He's already befriended Mexico. He just hasn't allied with them because he expects me to invade, and he doesn't want any penalties from not assisting Mexico. I think the only reason he's doing that is because they're so far away that he doesn't think they're in any imminent danger. Which, I mean, he's probably right. You also got your land build capacity up to us, like, real quick.
Yeah, why do you think I'm at a labor shortage right now? But of course I was building a lot of other things too.
Yeah, I check in now and again. Really, the longer this has gone on, though, like, I've been really failing to check on you.
Yeah, let's keep it that way. You know, concentrate on your primary threat. Don't worry about me.
It really is my primary threat. He's going crazy out there.
Honestly, and no BS, I'm just trying to work on rebuilding my treaty integrity right now. That's it. Like now I'm going into diplomatic mode.
Yeah, understandable. It's pretty low. Your market opinion is still decent enough to do another war, too. Got a question. Are you funding my insurgency?
On what?
Just, like, funding my insurgency? Like, my country's insurgency?
No.
Okay, I'm sure he is.
Oh, definitely.
I might as well point this out to you. Did you notice that he befriended Formosa? Take a look at his diplomatic relations with the filter. Bright green on Formosa.
He's just going around diplomatically everybody.
No,
That's what it looks like.
Look at his map. He's doing this strategically. He's going after NATO countries for a reason I still don't understand. He is surrounding you with friends of his own. He's gone specifically for countries that surround you or otherwise taken things over to surround you. He was planning on invading the Philippines, but I called him out on it in private and told him that I would defend the Philippines to the last, so he should back off. He is surrounding you very clearly. I don't know what he's doing in Europe, though. He's also trying to surround me. I can see him starting to befriend Canada now.
Oh, this is getting more and more interesting.
All because of Narfi. We better watch out. I'll tell you what, you can accept these if you want. I'm gonna send you the friendship treaties.
Okay.
Gives you a little economic boost, both of us. Very minuscule, but it's something. Clearly, you have a very giant threat next to you, and I have a very giant threat that is everywhere.
Well, one thing I don't think he's predicting me on is taking Mongolia. or especially India.
I don't think he's predicting you on Mongolia. I haven't heard him say anything about it. For India, I'm not. He hasn't mentioned India, and I brought India up to him several times. He might just be befriending India because they're big. He might be doing it because historically, they sided with the Soviet Union and went against Pakistan. So he's trying to do that. Be very careful with an invasion of India, though. Like that's going to be a commitment. You're going to need a lot of troops, land, and maybe air to pull that off, and a good supply hub.
Oh yeah, I know.
And he has already befriended India. Like, he's bright green with them.
I don't foresee him going to war with me, though, over India.
Probably not.
I think he's more concentrated on you in Europe.
He's definitely working on both of us, but he's definitely focused on me for sure. So they're whispering right now. I can tell that much. Purchase more agriculture, and generally speaking, I am now positive on all resources to some extent, although I could still use more timber production, that's for sure. I am now positive on all of my resources. So there's not a lot to build up just for the purpose of building up, although I have a good idea what he's doing with Canada. He's befriending anyone that neighbors me as a way to invade me. Even though he knows Canada's my ally, he knows that he can use them as a way into my country. And especially if he gets mutual defense, they might even help him. Who knows? But realistically, it's not a short-term worry. It is a long-term worry. But the stronger I get in this time, the less, hopefully, I'll have to worry about it. We have new research we can go for. The Sherman Mark I is going to become available to us soon. That looks cool. Research that when we get the chance. So the deal was non-aggression pact for 5 years. You can take Malay if you stop building all military production facilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a terrible deal. He doesn't want you to be a threat. That's probably why. He has an idea. Something he wants to do within 5 years. And he wants to make sure that you can't do anything opportunistic while he does it. That's what that would mean. Because
yeah.
I went for the non-aggression with you. The whole reason I went with the non-aggression with you is because I wanted to take Japan unmolested. So he has something planned, something he thinks that you can get in his way during. Me and him were speaking, and I pointed out how quickly units can actually build. So he might be just worried about your military getting too large or something.
It's possible.
I don't expect you to tell me this, but how many land units do you have right now? I don't have any plans to invade you. I'm more curious what kind of a threat you might pose to him.
A little over 600.
Yeah, okay, so you did lose a good bit. That is still probably below what he has. I'd imagine he has at least twice that, if not 3 times that, with the size of the initial Soviet army. You can catch up to that pretty quickly, because with about 40 land, you can make roughly, well, over 400 units every year. As long as you don't lose a lot more or anything. There's a lot of Chinese units on the move. One funny thing about you befriending France is I can see all these troop movements you're sending into Thailand. Is that for Burma? Is that for Malay?
It's for Malay when they release.
I have an election coming up, and we are going to win, kinda. Barely. Have you been supporting the government of Formosa to try to end that war?
Yeah, but I haven't been able to do peace yet. It's weird.
I'm sure their random invasion certainly put a knack in things.
I think it's plus they keep fucking sailing ships and trying to land troops on my territory.
So long as you're constantly supporting, the support will overwhelm these random incursions over time. It's just going to take time. Oh, look, there's another one.
I was like, hey, look, there's one more.
Oh, there's another one. Out of curiosity, what treaties do you have with him right now? Does he still have access to your territory?
No. No, our treaties ended.
Okay. I can see he's re-enabling military production, by the way. So when your economy allows, definitely keep building up military. Because the more military I build, the more he's re-enabling, and I know he still has more to go. Iberia has surrendered.
Liberia, Omar.
Has been annexed by the Soviets.
Exciting.
Oh, now you befriended the UK too?
Like I said, I'm working on diplomacy.
Yeah, you starting to light up now. You got North Vietnam, you're working on Pakistan, Bulgaria, Albania. You're going for Warsaw and NATO. I guess makes sense.
Wow, I've never actually had a treaty be declined due to the people not liking me, like straight out telling me.
Yep.
That's a first.
It happens to me all the time.
The opinion of the population and the opinion of the government trail after each other, but the government one moves quicker. It's harder, takes longer.
I know that. It's just I've never had the pop-up actually telling me, oh, this has been refused because the people don't like you.
Yeah, that's a thing. Would you guys believe me if I told you I only just now finally finished going through all my designs from the beginning?
No, I believe you.
Now, like 5 hours into recording. I see he's befriending Colombia now, too. He's probably going to go after more and more South America at this rate. I don't really have to worry too much about Shibi's diplomacy. He's not in Warsaw or NATO, so the fact that he'd befriend both isn't surprising. I'm amazed he's not trying to befriend Cuba. That's impressive. I won the election. Yay. West Germany and the United Kingdom formed an alliance. That's good. It's good for Western NATO. Even though the alliance mechanics of this game are being taken weirdly advantage of, with him befriending all of Western NATO in Europe for some weird reason. I finally have like so much metal ore that we had to turn off production, so that's a really good sign. I could use more rubber, but there's really no way to increase that at the moment. I'm sure I'm being outproduced for military goods at this point by the Soviets. Yeah, just by a little bit. Although I have a stockpile of 2.7 million that I'm hoarding right now. Even with selling stuff earlier. He has a stockpile of 2 million. And China has a real good stockpile as well. So we're all definitely prepped and ready against each other. Well, they're both up to satisfied with the world market. I'm still down to concerned, unfortunately. They certainly have moves that they could stand to make right about now. I don't really. I just have to sit back, let my country develop for the time being. My inflation's still doing really, really well at 8.8%. Otherwise, I would start building like hydro plants or something to get rid of my reliance on other things like oil so I have more of it available to sell. There's a possibility I could need even more timber. World economy is kind of leveling out. It's not necessarily profitable even to sell oil right now. Coal's not profitable to sell. For me, anyway. I have the highest GDP per capita out of all the players. Especially if we just narrow this down to players. There's 3 of us. I have such a high GDP per capita compared to any of them. I'm on the top of the list, nearly. In actuality, when you look at me compared to all AI as well. China's doing great for money, but that's because he doesn't have any of his military deployed. The Soviets' money's not doing well. He's probably spending it all on alliances and such. Yeah, he's got transit and everything with Sweden. Sweden's in his territory now, too. At the very least, if he's befriending everything in Europe, that should mean I shouldn't have to worry about the war breaking out in Europe. His friendship with European countries should stop European countries from being attacked. He's not befriending all of them quite yet, but he's getting in that direction. I'd be interested to see if he plans to invade something like Denmark in order to get control of Greenland, so he could be just outside me, really. I'm gonna get rid of the sea pier at Guantanamo Bay. I'm gonna replace it with a seaport. I'll also build an air base there instead of the airfield, so that this becomes a supply hub that's prepared for my inevitable eventual invasion of Cuba, and just another little base here in the Caribbean. Hell, I might as well put a barracks there at that point, too. Oh, Narfi has willingly taken on the MilCat penalty for production again. He's not waiting for me to make any more, probably because I stopped making. He's just been turning stuff on, probably almost, if not to his max at this point. I doubt he's making anything new, but this is probably most of the stuff that he has. It looks like most of it, if not all of it, is in fact enabled. For now, just so that the militarization in Japan is matching the militarization of Indonesia, I'm going to build one more series of production facilities here, and it can kind of count for the rest of it. I can see that they're whispering in the chat. I wonder what they're up to. So we got 1, 2, 3 land production and a air production, and we're going to get a seed production, naval production right here at Fukuoka, which is going to put a seaport there, which is potentially, I don't know, it's an interesting location. Just in case, I'll also put a gun emplacement there, just so that he doesn't get encouraged to land there, given its convenient seeming location. But that is more than enough, if not an excessive amount of militarization for Japan. The only time I'd add more to Indonesia, the East Indies, would be if I get the rest of Borneo, which may happen eventually, probably will later on. Oh, that's funny, you can see that me and China actually like each other. He's gonna notice that. He being Narfi. Narfi, who is definitely trying to befriend France and Spain now. He's just trying to keep them off of him, and clearly he thinks this will work. I don't know how well this plan of his will work, but he has line of sight with all of them, certainly, which means I cannot actually build up against him or Warsaw without him noticing if I'm in one of these countries, or any of their colonies. That's the biggest thing he's getting, is line of sight throughout all the colonies. It's really interesting. Has he tried making you any more deals?
No, but I tried to get him to give me an unfair one, just for the shit of it.
Unfair
I told
towards
him I'll give him a non-aggression for 3 years, and I'll keep my military production underneath his, but not completely stop. I take Malaya, and he also releases, the Dilian.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good deal for both parties.
Well, he refused, so he's like, that's not a good deal for me. Yeah, well, neither was the shit one you gave me.
I wonder what he has planned that he wants that non-aggression. Especially such a long one.
Yeah, 5 years, it's a little...
5 years is, like, we've gone through 4 years now in this playthrough. Like, almost. So 5 years is a while. To be fair, we didn't have it on fastest most of the time, but still.
But still, that's like a whole nother playthrough session.
Yeah.
What
Albeit,
if he thinks I'm going to attack him, or you are?
I mean, of course he does. He has to play paranoid. There's a China right next to him. He's well aware that Vladivostok and Korea right now are his only sources of supply and protection in that area. I definitely probably scared him by taking over Japan. I'm right on his fucking ass now, too.
Well, if it comes to war with me and him, you can hop in, at least in Korea, and return to status quo.
I could, yeah. I could also open a front in Europe, technically, if you guys end up at war.
Yeah.
I know that you told him to, like, watch Europe, too. So I know he's super paranoid about Europe. He's getting line of sight and all these other treaties with everybody in Europe.
I know, I did that on purpose.
He's so paranoid about Europe. He only took over one country. He immediately started befriending everyone that borders him. He's rolling it out little bit by little bit to the rest of NATO. He is skipping 1 or 2 countries, which I'm not sure about, but I feel like he's going to try to befriend most, if not all of them. You've definitely freaked him out. I wonder if he's going to message me at any point when he checks the diplomatic relations and finds that you and me are now very friendly to each other due to our support.
Oh, he already did.
Oh, he mentioned you? Yeah, he didn't message me about it. What'd he say?
He's like, oh, I noticed you and Rez are getting quite friendly. I'm like, yeah, I'm staying friendly with everybody. I'm kind of like going neutral here, you know?
I know I can't get a support thing with him. He's only wanting to oppose us because he's trying to ruin our finances. But I know that I can at least rely on you for this kind of thing, which is good. Let's lower the price of agriculture down to like 10%, because, I mean, our economy is doing very well. It probably doesn't even need to be that high.
My inflation's actually starting to go... I mean, not my inflation,
Whoa.
but unemployment's starting to go back up.
So, Mr. President,
Yes.
how is it going?
It's going well. How's it going with you?
Yeah, he really wants that.
Also very
non-aggression.
good.
He's like, fine, cancel the military,
So
you
you're
take
making
the lady.
Hang on,
give me
friends
the
with
He's
China.
whispering me. Friendly with China? Well, our governments are, yeah.
Yeah, how come?
You know. Just thought I'd
I
put
don't
on
know
a
that.
good public face.
Sure.
Yeah. Alright, what were you saying, Shibi?
Yeah, he really wants that non-aggression.
I just
really bad.
realized something.
What's that?
We haven't made a deal
Pretty
or
much
something,
now he said,
right?
okay, fine, cancel the military. You can keep your whatever production you want. You could have Malaya, but just give me the non-aggression. I said, yep. Well, sorry, but Diliana is a red line for me. Unless that's included, there's no deal.
We've only made one deal so far, and that
It's
was
like, that's my red line.
over
You want it?
Korea.
Hey, you got to give up something too, buddy.
Yeah, but that was so long back.
Yeah? Did you have something in mind?
Hey, like you were saying,
No,
you was
actually,
hoping
no,
that I
I
would
just
ask you
want to
for that
reach
piece.
out my
Well,
hands, you know?
that's the only way you're gonna
See
get
if I
it.
can help you with something.
I don't need help with anything currently.
Because you're getting the help from China.
No, I'm not getting anything from China, actually. I told you, I'm not scheming.
I'm not trusting this.
I told
Not
you,
one bit.
I'm not scheming. I don't have secret plans like that.
I'm not trusting this.
Okay. Alright, he's still whispering me. And he's like, so, why are you becoming friends with China? Hey, you want to make a deal? We haven't made a deal. Like, only once, the whole playthrough. You want to make another deal? Is something I can help you with? I'm like, oh no, I have nothing going on. He's like, right, because you're getting help from China. And I'm just like, I'm not getting anything from China, actually. He's like, I don't trust that. So yeah, you were saying that he won't include the Dalian area because he really wants something out of it. That's what you were saying.
Well, pretty much.
That's the one thing he's not
Like
willing
that.
to include.
Yep, and that's my red line. So you don't include that, forget it. No deal.
Smart. Yeah. He really wants that non-aggression though. He really wants to do something against me. You can feel it. What I find so great, Narfi, is how afraid you are that I'm doing something with China, even though you're the one that at one point during this had mutual defense and full transit with China.
Yes, but it's kind of curious because Shibi doesn't want to take any deal with me.
Maybe you're not offering him a good deal.
Maybe he wants too much.
Oh, well, who knows? How much could he really ask for from you?
He wants something that I don't want to give up.
And what do you want from him?
I don't see how that is the US's concern.
Well, I'm just saying, if it's something that you don't want to give up, what maybe he thinks whatever it is worth whatever you're asking for. I'm gonna research the Voodoo. F101 Voodoo is my next interceptor. I got some new planes popping up that I can go for. They're not all necessarily very good, but I'll go for the Thunder Chief for my next tactical bomber. I'll also get the Skyhawk because I'm really undecided between the two of those. There's a new Stratofortress showing itself. We're definitely going for that. I whispered him, and he said... I was like, it's so interesting. You're so concerned whether or not I'm doing something with China, whereas you had mutual defense and full transit with him at one point and assisted him in wars. And he goes, yeah, but it's suspicious because he doesn't even want to make a deal with me. And I was like, well, how much could he ask from you anyway? And he says, he wants something I'm not willing to give up.
Oh boy.
So that's very important for him. That right there. What's your current justification towards him anyway?
93.
Interesting. I wonder if some point we could bully Dalian out of him.
It's possible. It's not really, important to me. It's just there.
It's
just more.
It's not
just
important.
An eyesore.
That's the thing. It's not important, but for him, it's a strategic naval location that allows him full access to your coasts. Like, especially right up to your capital. He definitely sees it as important, and he wants something very important for it. But it's in such a terrible location. I do wonder what would happen if sometime you said, hey, I have a deal for you. And he goes, what? And you say, I want that thing. to quote you from previous playthroughs. I want that thing. And he says, what are you going to give me? Nothing. Well, then I'm not giving it to you. And you say, okay. Well, then I'm going to take it from you. He says, I'd like to see you try. And then you say, oh, I will. Because the US is going to help me make sure I take that. I'm just saying. I feel like he'd want to avoid war over such a tiny, insignificant place that only helps him with a strategic naval position.
I'll do that on the next playthrough.
Yeah, he has so much military production. Someone's gotta take him down a notch, huh?
Yeah, but that's why it's a PvP.
Yeah?
We're all playing each other, so I mean, you guys could be doing shit exactly the way I want you to, too. So you never know.
That is true, yes. This is the only thing that he could
the
release to
fucking
you,
fun of
too. Oh, yeah. It's the only thing he has that's loyal to you in any way that he could release to you, so it's such a good location for some sort of nonsense like that, just to really get him on edge and to push him to do something. Because even if a war started over that, so what? Like, if you did it fast enough, I don't know what he has in Korea. I might play spies at some point to find out, maybe. It would be funny, because there's so little of it, and there's so little he can do over there. Unless he pre-amasses units in Vladivostok and Korea, there's little to no way he could wage a war over there. By the way, if you do end up deciding to make that threat, preemptively place your garrisons. Because we could get a border skirmish to start as a result of this. I'm actually going to place a spy, a recon spy, just to see what he has going on in Korea. I did place a spy, and he has loads of units still in Korea. He's pretty much left his whole invasion force for Korea, by the looks of it.
Yeah, to counter you.
Yeah, he's probably most scared of me here with Japan. They're all bundled up towards Busan. I don't know what they look like closer to your border. I'm not willing to place more spies to check, but he's bundled up towards Busan. If we do get a border skirmish, though, I'm willing to help you reconquer Dalian from him, and maybe even Vladivostok, if this happens, on the condition that both Koreas be released independent.
That's fine by me.
We'll see how that goes next week, though. That's probably going to happen somewhere around Israel and Egypt.
He has some troops at the border, not much.
Yeah, there's far less over there to garrison on your side of the border. There's just a few towns and stuff, so they wouldn't really be sitting there. There's a lot of towns over by Busan, so yeah, he's got a lot of stuff over there. But if a border skirmish opened up, all you would need to do is essentially cut off Vladivostok from Korea, and then swarming Korea wouldn't be an issue. And if Vladivostok falls, then there goes his last supply hub in the east. He'd need to build some brand new stuff to try to make it work over there. Also, if war does start against him and you want to prevent him from getting the jump on you, find your borders with him around the east part of Mongolia and get rid of all the roads and rails. That area relies on a bridge even for him to get across that is literally a rail line. And you could cut that rail whenever you wanted.
Wait, to where?
To the east of Mongolia, your border with the Soviet Union, there's a little town with a road and a rail passing through it. There's a rail line that creates a bridge that crosses into your territory. That's one of his only real ways into your territory. Around Vladivostok and north of Vladivostok, where there's another road. If you cut the infrastructure in these locations, he would not be able to invade you from that region, technically speaking. Colombia coup d'etat. Alright, I'll support that. Demonstrations against communism are growing in East Germany. I will condemn the government. That's just historical stuff. It's not going to result in anything at all, so no need to be alarmed or even intrigued by that, really. I'm gonna say fuck it and just go around building more timber mills, like wherever the hell I want to, because we are gonna need more timber production at this rate. If I ever need to undo any locations of timber, then that's fine. I'll do that when it becomes a problem. Like the 55 timber mills should be good. Timber doesn't produce that much by itself anyway. Oh, looks like he's building up more military production for like the first time this whole game, and he's building it in Korea. 2 more land productions. So you might want to watch your social spending and stuff. Your domestic approval's getting real low.
Alright, I think I'm going to the bed.
Alrighty. Alrighty, no need to whisper that.
All right. I don't think he did.
I did. I accidentally whispered at first. There you go. Cool. That was a fun first playthrough. We got to the middle of 1953. There were a lot of wars at the very, very start. We went really rapid fucking crazy.
It went
Yeah,
batshit crazy.
And now it's peace and quiet.